total. So not overly long, I wouldn't say. But given that I will have to travel to the frontier and back again to Boston, I think, eventually, I would definitely add some extra time. Okay, let me just go ahead and fix my CPU affinity here for the game. And let me also change the title and game category.
Where is Charles Lee?
All right. So the title incorrectly states that the year is 1755, but actually the next mission takes place in November 54, according to the Forsaken novel, at least, which, gives us a specific date. So we're still in 54, but late 54, and then for the third mission of this game, we are actually getting to the year 55 for the BRADDOCK expedition. Well, Schatzi in the sound bit. It did play for me. At least I heard it loud and clear.
Hello, Charles. Any luck finding our mystery woman?
Word is she's been stirring up trouble just outside the city in a town called Lexington.
Well, then that's where we'll begin our search. I'll meet you there.
But yeah, there he is. Charles motherfucking Lee. King Sheppo. King James II ordered the building of the Anglican Church in the 1680s because he was a king and the perk of the job is doing whatever they want. However, since Boston was full of Puritans who had come to the New World precisely to get away from the Anglicans, nobody was willing to sell land to the budding parish. In the end, the governor ordered that the church be built on top of the old public burial ground, the logic being that the dead couldn't complain, were notoriously compliant. And there the church stands today. After the revolution, the church was known as the Stone Chapel for several years. Kings not being particularly popular at the time, and calling a stone chapel the stone chapel was the best idea anyone could come up with at the time. I've never understood these people's need for independence, by the way. We gave birth to them. We were happy to suck on our teats in their infancy. There were a few toddler wobblers, but as soon as they got to their teenage years, all they could bang on about was their independence. So they stormed out, but we know they'll be back eventually to borrow money or to get us to wash their clothes. And we forgive them because we're older and wiser. Ah yeah, Sean. He never misses a chance to bash the United States. So how long Touché goes to Lisbon and comes back? So he's gonna leave, or he's gonna journey to Lisbon between the 3rd and 4th quarter of 1755. And the date that he actually returns back, or at least the date where the earthquake happens, I guess. The final part of his journey is on the 1st of November, 55. And then he returns to the homestead in early 56. Kinda cringe Sean. Yeah, he's definitely a bit blinded by his English loyalty.
A respected advocate taken out in the street and beaten before the masses.
Old fellow, show some restraint.
We barely scrape through as it is. For all the fish we catch each day, we can find no customer. No one responds.
For all your travel destinations.
The printer's shop. Printing presses were originally brought to America to print religious texts, but by the time of the Revolutionary War, they were also used for things like newspapers, pamphlets, and broadsheets. Think of it as the colonial internet, about the same speed as dial-up. Unlike word of mouth, newspaper articles could spread news of events from the colony to colony quickly and without any loss of information. But that doesn't mean it was unbiased, far from it. Presses were commonly used to print propaganda. Every newspaper had its land. Thank goodness that doesn't happen nowadays. Anyway, part of what made the Boston Massacre such a turning point were reprints of Paul Revere's woodcut. It showed organized British soldiers in full formation, firing point blank at an innocent crowd. A shocking image, which enraged the people and fueled their hatred for the British. Completely made up, of course, but what did that matter? The public is there to be manipulated. Actually, I bet you could use these places to print some propaganda of your own. If the soldiers are getting too unfriendly, a little reminder that you're a hero of a people might help. Indeed, yeah, it's one of the ways you can actually use to reset your notoriety if someone is after you.
Father has brought dog.
General Edward Braddock needs 2,000 men.
Yeah, Black Flag definitely refined a lot. Like AC3 really had to find its footing and, you know, kind of like create everything for this new engine. So Black Flag could really, you know, benefit from having, you know, a base system to work with. Being the second game of the generation.
Putney's on Mill Road. A name and reputation you can rise with.
Those would have to face, I suppose. Though I...
Hey! What is the meaning of this?
We await word from General Braddock. Master of the...
Actually, I'm gonna leave this chest for Connor to pick up. That way we don't have to go to the Green Dragon Tavern, you know, to get very specific chests unlocked. Just gonna leave it for him there. My favorite game to horse ride in except for Red Dead Redemption 2? I mean, I have to say I quite like the horses in Origins. You know, like coming from previous games, like for example AC3, which didn't have the most satisfying horse mechanics. And Origins was pretty smooth, if not, you know, very realistic maybe. But I kind of liked, you know, the things that also came with having horses or mounts in Origins, you know, which is also the combat, like being able to attack from the horse and especially horse archery, I quite like. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima was also a great game for like, you know, riding and using your horse. Kinda liked how in the Iki Island DLC you had some, you know, kinda like skills associated to the horse as well. Yeah, definitely didn't want to mess with a horse in Icky Island. Would just ram everything out of the way. The old belfry. Originally, Lexington's meeting hall didn't have a steeple for a bell, so a separate belfry was built to summon people to church services, funerals, fires, and of course, to British soldiers trooping into town to raid Patriot weapon cages. The belfry originally stood on a hill near the town, but was moved to the location in 1768, possibly because nobody found it fun to climb a big hill just to ring a bell. Not unless they were a bit simple. Now that would be a challenge for like New Game Plus and use the Icky Island ram only ability for the horse to kill any of your enemies. Ram only. The horse is fine. They pronounce it Belfry in Gotham Knights. Ah, okay. So Belfry then. Yeah, I never know with English language, you know, like once it's called like, or written like, you know, fry, then it's, you know, meant to be said free. And you're like, yeah, makes sense. Hello, Verdex. Welcome in, dude. And good day to you. How are things?
Have you found her?
She's made camp not too far from here.
Excellent. Well, the sooner we're done, the sooner we can get out of this cold.
Work, work, work.
Faster on horseback.
Ah, you don't say, Charles. Really? You move fast on horseback,
Sir,
then on foot?
take the reins when you're ready and we'll depart.
But now you have some AC running through your veins. Hell yeah. But yeah, dude, I hope, you know, that work is going well for you and that it's not, you know, too stressful. Yeah, I know, right? Like, you're fast on horseback?
I'm afraid I have some bad news, sir.
That's a foreign concept to me.
Braddock is insisting I return to service under him. I've tried to beg off, to no avail.
No doubt he's still angry about losing Pitcairn. To say nothing of the shaming we gave him. Do as he asks. In the meantime, I'll work on having you released.
I'm sorry for the trouble.
Not your fault.
Nice, Dex. That's great to hear, dude.
We're too late.
Fire's only just been snuffed. Snow recently disturbed. She's close.
Bollocks.
Tracks are fresh. It must be hers. Seems she took to higher ground. Out of the snow and into the trees.
New insult. Chartsy saying bollocks. the wildlife and weather and snow mechanics of this game are just so freaking good for its time. And it's no wonder, you know, the team behind that aspect went on to work for Red Dead 2 and do the same thing there. In general, I feel like there's definitely some similarities between Red Dead and AC3.
Wait here. Oh, damn it. Wait! Come back! Do you return to Braddock, Charles, before he grows suspicious? I can handle things from here.
But sir!
But nothing! Go! Stop running! I only wish to talk! I am not your enemy! Please just hear me out! Gods, woman! Only let me speak!
Can't actually skin the wolves. It's something that Haven doesn't do. Woof woof, motherfucker. Who let the dogs out?
You try my patience, woman!
Also funny, like if you actually try to climb the trees, then Haven can't do that. Doesn't have the skills to. Never learned to climb, you know, and parkour through trees like that. But it's a cool way to distinguish, you know, the abilities of the Mohawk people versus, you know, the colonialists.
Are you touched in the head?
Me, Haytham. I come in peace.
Why are you speaking so slow?
Sorry.
What do you want?
Well, your name, for one.
I'm Gadzit Zio.
Pleased to meet you. God's day.
Just call me Zio.
Dio.
Zio.
Dio.
Now tell me why it is you're here. Where did you get this?
From an old friend.
I've only seen such markings in one other place.
Where?
Well, it is forbidden for me to speak of it.
I saved your people. Does this mean nothing to you? Look, I am not the enemy.
Close to here, there is a hill. Meet me there, and we'll see if you speak the truth.
Conveniently teleported here. The hole. Which is kind of weird since Edward trained him. You guess he died before we got to a tree climbing. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he definitely trained him, I guess, in the prospect of urban climbing, which Haven definitely excels in. But I guess they didn't get to climb too many trees in London. But I feel like it also definitely has a lot to do with, you know, they tried to make a distinction for this game, and then they got to develop Black Flag, and they were like, well, in order to have, you know, really fully playable, you know, kind of like set pieces, we have to incorporate trees, so Edward also gets to climb trees now. But with Edward, I guess you can chalk it up to Edward, you know, as a sailor, and like he said before, you know, he's kind of like a natural climber. Whereas Haven never really got to be, you know, a sailor like that, I guess. Me too, Dex. Yeah, I hope so too. Otherwise we don't get Ratenagedon, the legend himself. Gatsezio was a member of the Kanyan Kahaka nation, living on the frontier lands near Boston at the time of the French and Indian War. Assassin records indicate that she was the daughter of the Lakoyena or clan mother, and from an early age was being groomed for leadership herself. While many in her community chose to ignore her incursions by colonists into the area, and growing tensions between the French and British, Gatsezio was convinced that they presented a very real danger. She began to argue to anyone who would listen that the village should take action rather than staying silent, which was contrary to the will of the clan chiefs at the time. She refused to follow the orders to remain neutral, deciding to fight back in her own way, and recruiting help where she could get it, including from Haven Kenway. What kind of fingers does he say to Bonnet again? Natural sailor, every finger is a fish hook, or something. Yeah, I think that's it, Aura.
That town hosts soldiers who seek to drive my people from these lands. They're led by a man known as the Bulldog.
Edward Braddock.
You know him?
He is no friend of mine.
Every day, more of my people are lost to men like him.
Then I suggest we put a stop to it. Together.
What do you propose?
That we kill Edward Braddock. But first, we have to find him.
Yeah, can't do it.
I don't
Can't
trust
climb
you.
the tree.
I know.
Concord. This was Veracruz's destination when Way set out from Boston on the day of the battles of Lexington and Concord, and inside the town, the British found cannon, flour, sword food, and musket boards. They broke the cannon and threw the rest into the local mill pond, a bad idea since the local residents retrieved most of it later, undamaged. In Versio, Veracruz also accidentally set fire to the local meeting house. It happens, and then joined the Bucket Brigade to help put it out. However, the local militia saw the smoke and thought Veracruz had set fire to the whole town. The militia marched in, causing a battle with Veracruz at the North Bridge, just outside of town. It was a comedy of errors with very little comedy. The battle at the North Bridge battle was immortalized in the Concord Hymn, a popular poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson lived in Concord in the 1830s, which probably made him a bit biased. He refers to the fighting at the bridge as the shot heard round the world, a bit of an overstatement, since the first shots of the war had been fired at Lexington hours before. Maybe he had been napping. You know what poets are like. Yeah, constantly yapping and napping. That's poets for you.
Yet you remain.
That I might prove you wrong.
It will not happen.
So you say.
So I know.
Yet, I remain.
These two. Get a room already. Perhaps in this inn, the right tavern.
We're an embarrassment to him.
Trading posts were essentially general stores set up in the North American frontier. The clientele, mainly explorers and members of the local indigenous nations, would barter for various goods, such as guns, axes, and pots and pans. Payment was mostly in the form of furs, which were shipped back to Europe. The fur trade at the time was extremely lucrative, and one of the reasons that explorers were continually moving into the frontier. They were hoping to find more and better sources of pelts. There was a reason Davy Crockett only ever seemed to have one head. Many of the trading posts were privately owned, but they were used to push political agendas as well. For example, after the Revolutionary War ended, the British government used their trading posts to encourage the indigenous people not to sign treaties with the United States. The United States government took over the colonial fur trade in the colonies in 1796, establishing something called the factory system. The idea was to regulate prices in order to stop exploitation of the indigenous people by private traders. Unfortunately, under the new system, indigenous leaders were forced to trade large amounts of land to get access to trading posts. Private exploitation had become government exploitation. Luckily, that's the only time in history that's ever happened. Since that obviously wasn't any better, the factory system was abolished in 1822. They're such an odd couple. They definitely are. It's not really, you know, a typical kind of like love relationship, I guess. You know, they, you know, see use in the other person. And by being aligned in some, you know, causes, you know, they might grow closer. I guess Haven is also one of the few people who doesn't treat Gatsuzio, you know, too differently. You know, he actually treats her as, you know, an equal human. And I guess that's something she doesn't, you know, have happen very often either. They get a room when the damn door is fixed. Also, hello there, Mr. Goody. Welcome in. They would hook up one time and that's how we get Connor. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too sure. We only see them hook up once, but I think, you know, they might have spent a bit more time together. But not very long. One cave stand, that's it. You always found it odd how nice and seemingly normal Haven seems in the prologue, because later on he's a dick, but you also knew Connor existed. Yeah, I have to say I like Haven a lot better in the prologue than I like him later on. It of course helps playing from his perspective, but yeah, you know, he seems to have like a lot of morals and kind of like, you know, ideals at the start. Later on, he seems quite pessimistic and realistic in a way. I feel like he definitely shifted, you know, in his mindset a little bit. Yeah, I guess they kind of like, you know, end up using each other in a way. Both, you know, have benefits to the other person and the cause.
Wait here. A Mohawkman is likely to raise suspicions, if not muskets.
This is hardly the first time I've been amongst your people. I can handle myself.
I hope so.
Can't stand being quartered there. The endless crashing of the waves, the sting of the salt in my eyes, and the goddamn gulls shrieking and shitting everywhere.
You're sure that's where we're going?
Aye. The Bulldog's putting together another expedition.
That's what they're calling them now. Expeditions.
Aye, smart too. Slap a fancy name on something and all evil is excused.
I hear tell the French are ready to move on our positions. Wonder what Braddock intends to do about it.
He's already left for the advance camp. I'll wager our little holiday here is just about ended. We'll be marching south before week's end.
Oi! Where are you going, Cully?
Me?
No, the other cock Robin.
Well, I was leaving.
Oh? And now?
Well, now... I'm going to feed you your teeth.
And you were worried I was going to be the problem? You're hurt.
Oh, that's nothing.
Here. This should stop the bleeding.
Get to the chopper!
That wasn't necessary. But thank you.
We should move on. Meet me at Braddock's camp when you're ready.
Son of a pirate, everybody. Indeed. A Kenway definitely can't pass up on, you know, a good tavern fight. Hello, Dr. Darling. Welcome in, dude. Totally wasn't expecting a stream. Was that irony or for real? Haven is basically Robert De Niro from Heat, where he operates an X. I think I've only seen that movie like once, ages ago. So I don't really remember much about it. Don't let yourself get attached to anything you're not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds if you feel the heat around a corner. I see. I mean, yeah, you know, if you're like in the game, then that's probably not a bad advice, honestly. Of course, you could compromise your own and the safety of others.
Use the snowstorm to mask your approach. Having second thoughts?
Hardly. But I'll have to approach this carefully.
Go on then. I'll keep watch from here.
I can hide in that cart.
The Battle of Fort Necessity. This was one of the opening battles of the French and Indian War, and it's important that opening battles are quite exciting, otherwise everyone just sort of loses interest. In 1754, George Washington was sent to the head of the Ohio River Valley with a group of Virginia militia. The land there was contested territory between the British colonists and the French. Washington's mission was to retake Fort Duquesne and drive French forces out of the area. Washington and his troops attacked the French patrol at Jumonville Glen in what would be the first acts of violence in the war. Washington expected a return attack and so had his troops build a palisade wall surrounding their supplies, a fort of the city, hence the name. But they might as well have called it the Fort of Inadequacy because supplies ran low and the militia and the British regular reinforcements were quickly overwhelmed. On the 4th of July, Washington surrendered and he was allowed to retreat, and someone else was put in charge of naming forts. It was Washington's only military surrender, though he had plenty of strategic retreats. P.R. Spin was alive and well even then. Ah yeah, the retreats, which definitely are not a surrender. Don't believe what they're saying. Grenadiers were originally the soldiers in charge of throwing grenades, hence the name. They were chosen for being tall, muscular, and fearless. Not only did they need the strength to throw grenades far enough to actually injure the enemy, they had to be brave and stupid enough to stay in the front lines of battle to do it. Grenadiers were also called upon to be fast, effective assault troops, helping with things like storming breaches during sieges. You know, all the standard easy jobs that are likely to get you killed. By the mid-18th century, grenades had fallen out of favor, but grenadiers were still regarded as elite regiments, called on to guard the right flank of their battalions, and still to do all the other dangerous work they'd gotten a reputation for. An interesting note on the heads: they were made high and narrow so that as not to get in the way while you were throwing grenades, which is a good feature to have, and eventually the mitre head became part of a standard dress uniform in numerous armies. It's also possible grenadiers just really dig the idea of looking like the Pope. History's mute on that point. Also, give me just 1 second. Alright, I'm back. They should have made Lawrence Washington a Templar in AC3, would have been a better excuse why Haven won't kill George because Code of Honor as a respect to Lawrence, rather than it just being about actual history. Yeah, the thing is that Lawrence Washington dies before AC3 really starts, right? Like, he dies in 52 and AC3 starts in 54. But he is a Templar there, and he also asked the Templars who are accompanying him before his death. He asked them to look out for George or something of that sort. So yeah, it would have made sense for Haven to kind of like maybe respect that or kind of like consider that. But it's another one of those situations where AC3 could never actually do that because the whole of Rogue's story was written well after AC3's story, and even, you know, a large chunk of Unity's story, which is why we never have Shay in Unity or, you know, any mention about him in AC3. They really had to come up with a whole story in like just a few months. Shortly, like in the same year that the game launched, really. So yeah, it's definitely tricky. Like, really the responsibility lies with Rogue, I guess, to kind of like work with the other games and make it align well, because, you know, they were already written down, nothing really they could do there. But it's also tricky with Unity, for example, because it was also still in development phase, and it's also a question of like how much communication there is between, you know, the writers, departments and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky for AC3 to kind of like hint on, you know, Lawrence being a Templar when he was already dead for 2 years. But, yeah, it's kind of like tricky, you know, if it's not even a character that appears in the game. And now you're going back to sleep because you were totally not tired at all, and you were not totally having a nap before waking up randomly. No worries whatsoever, Dr. Darling. I hope you have a good rest of your sleep and a good night. Thank you for dropping by, and yeah, definitely catch you next time. I gotcha, Afro, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, you know, tricky with some of the AC games where, you know, they really have to respect, I guess, history in when, you know, characters die, but it doesn't always 100% align maybe with the character's motivations.
As you wish. Let's see. 2 barrels of salt, 12 pounds pork, 10 pounds beef, 7 dozen eggs, 16 wheels of cheese. None of it French, don't worry. 5 bottles of whiskey, a couple dozen new uniforms, boots, and leather for patching, blankets, a cart of feed for the horses. What else? That's it? That's all there is?
Those cannons are like to cause trouble. Perhaps I could sabotage them.
John Fraser, also spelled Fraser or Frazier, was a Scottish-born trader living in the area of Fort Duquesne during the French and Indian War and a participant in the Braddock expedition. Fraser left Scotland sometime after 1745, possibly because of political troubles. The Frasers had supported the Stuarts, who were on the losing end of the rebellion. He set up trade on the upper Allegheny River, but was quickly run out of his cabin by the French. He moved further down the river near modern-day Pittsburgh, built a new cabin and continued to trade. Fraser was one of the settlers building a fort on the site of Fort Duquesne, near his own land, when the French took over again. Fraser supplied Washington's attempt to reclaim the fort in 1754, which was followed by the defeat at Fort Necessity, and served as the chief scout during the Braddock expedition. After Braddock failed, Fraser gave up on the area, depriving the French of a third opportunity to chase him off his land. So I suppose that's a small victory. He moved to the Tuscarora Valley before finally settling at Fort Bedford. Only 5 bottles of whiskey. Yeah, I reckon only the captains get the good stuff there. The soldiers see none of it.
General Braddock refused the offer. There will be no truce.
Damn it! Why, George? What reason did he give?
He said a diplomatic solution was no solution at all. That allowing the French to retreat would only delay an inevitable conflict. One in which they'd now have the upper hand.
There's merit to those words, as much as I hate to admit it. Still, can't he see that?
George Washington. Here's a name even you should recognize. George Washington, who will go on to be the leader of the army during the American Revolution and the first president of the United States. I was going to say you probably know everything if I'm going to tell you, but that would be a lie. What you now know is that George Washington has a lot of things named after him, and anything else you learned in school you forgot because you thought you'd never use it in real life. You should call your history teacher and tell her she was right all along. George Washington was the son of a planter from Virginia. He was raised with little education, but was ambitious, teaching himself mostly from books. Washington started in business early, speculating on land starting at the age of 18. When he was 20, his older brother died, leaving him the heir of a family plantation at Mount Vernon, where he lived until his death, and we can still visit his grave today. Washington got his military start during the French and Indian War, leading to an expedition to Fort Duquesne in 1754, a destination he never reached, having surrendered at Fort Necessity. The next year, Washington headed to Fort Duquesne again, this time as a guide for Edward Braddock during the ill-fated Braddock expedition. Washington went as a volunteer, hoping that working for Braddock would get him a track for military promotion. Though the battle was a rout, Washington earned credit for organizing the retreat, and later that year he was made a colonel in charge of a Virginia militia. Washington completely revamped the militia, with hopes that under his organization and training, they would be accepted into the British military. They never were. Washington resigned his post in 1758. I won't say the snap led to his contempt for the British, but snaps rarely help. By the late 1760s, Washington had become active in political life, taking on a role in the Virginia House of Burgesses. He went on to be a member of the Continental Congress, and when war broke out in 1775, he was Congress's choice to lead the army. At the time, Washington said, "I do not think myself equal to the command I'm honored with," which I'm sure inspired complete confidence in everyone who heard it. Imagine if you were on an airplane and the captain opened with that. It's possible Washington was being thoughtfully modest, but the fact is this: he wasn't a military genius, and he knew it. Though I'm sure it hurts the American pride to hear me say he wasn't perfect. Washington had several narrow misses where the army could have easily been obliterated, at Manhattan and again at Brandywine, among others. Washington won an early victory. He broke the siege of Boston, but he then made the disastrous move of fortifying New York, a city he couldn't defend without a navy he didn't have. Even you can work that one out. He spent the latter half of 1776 retreating across New York and New Jersey, losing battle after battle until Christmas, when he pulled off a successful surprise attack the Hessian troops at Trenton. And while that battle makes for some famous paintings and it did rally the flagging confidence of the public, it was a minor victory in the war.
Unwise?
It doesn't sit well with me either. We're far from home with our forces divided. Worse, I fear Braddock's blood makes them careless. It puts them at a risk.
Okay, it's fine.
Delivering grim news to mothers and widows because the bulldog wanted to prove a point.
Where is the general now?
Rallying the troops.
And then it's on to Fort Duquesne, I assume?
Eventually. The march north will surely...
Jesus, can I please...
There's a copy of the plans in the command
This
tent
fucker.
if you wish to review them.
At least this will be ended soon. I tried, John. I know, my friend.
Fucking stealth in this game. But yeah, you have to break complete line of sight before I can
like to cause trouble.
go into grass again.
Perhaps I could sabotage them.
General Braddock refused the offer. There will be no truce.
Damn it! Why, George? What reason did he give?
He said a diplomatic solution was no solution at all. That allowing the French to retreat would only delay an inevitable conflict. One in which they'd now have the upper hand.
There's merit to those words, as much as I hate to admit it. Still, can't he see this is unwise?
It doesn't sit well with me either. We're far from home with our forces divided. Worse, I fear Braddock's bloodlust makes them careless. It puts them at a risk. I'd rather not be delivering grim news to mothers and widows because the bulldog wanted to prove a point.
Where is the general now?
Rallying the troops.
And then it's on to Fort Duquesne, I assume?
Eventually. The march north will surely take time. There's a copy of the plans in the command tent should you wish to review them.
At least this will be ended soon.
I tried, John.
I know, my friend. I know.
That map will surely be of use. I need to find it.
Hold up here, perhaps.
This shouldn't count as a kill, right? Yeah, it should be fine, I think. Here's some things you didn't know. His older brother was a Templar. You don't say. Now you totally ruined the plot twist about Haven actually being a Templar. Also, hello there, John Carlos. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow.
Making a run for it. He's doing a legger. Come back here, you coward. Give us a hand, boys. Stop that. Stop. Over here, lad.
What news?
Braddock has left to rally his troops. They're marching on Fort Duquesne. It'll be a while yet till they're ready, which gives us time to form a plan.
No need. We will ambush them here near the river. Go and gather your allies. I will do the same. I will send word when it is time to strike.
Oh yeah, that's full sync right there. Stealth game of all time. Oh yeah, AC3 is one of the best stealth games in the series. Yeah, not quite. I really wish it was, but definitely has one of the trickiest stealth systems out there. So there's going to be quite the time skip. We're actually jumping to summertime now for the next mission, which will also lead us into the next year of 1755. Spent quite a while actually in 54. Was one of the longer years, with quite a bit happening there. And thank you, Afro. Yeah, definitely good to get the full sync there on the first time playing through it. So sad. Can't climb the trees. But just one of those things that makes me look forward to play as Connor again, you know, because tree climbing through Frontier is just super satisfying, I think, with him. Right, so we are jumping into the next year, and more precisely, we're jumping into July. The events of a BRADDOCK expedition in the game take place over several days, actually, from the 8th to the 13th of July 55. But yeah, let me go ahead and change the title accordingly. And let's do the next mission.
The cold, cold ground. Here, here.
Hard at work, I see.
How did you...
It is time. We've set up camp to the north. Meet me there.
Gentlemen, let us away.
First it was too cold. Now it's too goddamn hot.
And humid too. It's a right swamp, I tell you.
The Braddock Expedition. This battle was part of a French and Indian War. In it, Edward Braddock's force of 1,500 British regulars and militia was decimated by a group of French-led troops half its size. This is not something we talk about much in Britain. Braddock had been sent to recapture Fort Duquesne at the top of the Ohio River. His officers included the young George Washington, possibly because Washington knew the area, having surrendered at Fort Necessity the year before. Braddock's troops were about 10 miles from Fort Duquesne when they were ambushed by a group of French and indigenous fighters. Braddock's advanced troops were overwhelmed and fell back into the main body of the army. His rearguard didn't have the order to stop and kept advancing into the main body of the army. The result was chaos. Almost every one of his officers was killed, with the exception of Washington. Braddock himself was fatally wounded. Washington had him carried from the field and he died 4 days later. An interesting historical note, Braddock gave his officer's sash to George Washington, asking him to preserve it. Washington did. It's still on display at Mount Vernon. The battle is also known as Braddock's defeat, but interestingly, no one knows why. I'm kidding, though if you need me to tell you why, I don't think you're really cut out for this. The native whistle sound is the equivalent of the Arkham Asylum jingle for you. Ah yeah, Arkham Asylum. Huh. It didn't give me the George Washington database entry. I guess I wasn't close enough to him on my second kinda like tailing. Because the first time we did unlock it and we also read it. So the next time I unlock the George Washington database entry, I'm just gonna uncheck it because we have already covered it.
To say nothing of the mosquitoes.
Warm weather and bugs are soon to be the least of our worries.
But there could be that it won't be before Connor that we unlock the database entry again.
That one's beef soon enough and on to the next.
Since we have to uncover Washington during gameplay.
Returned to finish out his service under Braddock.
I imagine the Bulldog's none too pleased after the stunt we pulled.
Pleased to spin a tale of my incompetence and beg forgiveness. He has a way with words, especially when it comes to flattery. I expect he'll be welcomed back with open arms.
Which would give us a man inside.
Precisely.
Unless you've underestimated our enemy.
If I have, Charles will sense it first and make his escape. He's more clever than you think.
When this is done, I'm taking a week in New York. It's high time I went and saw the sights.
Of empty whiskey bottles and women's breeches, no doubt.
What other kinds of sights is worth seeing?
They really like each other, I have a feeling. It's really a bunch of, you know, camaraderie and kinship.
I see you've been busy.
All these men are from many different tribes, united in their desire to see Braddock sent away. The Abenaki, the Lenape, the Shawnee.
And you? Who do you stand for?
Myself.
What would you have me do?
Will you help the others to prepare? Follow. They come.
Everything all right, sir?
Just savoring the moment. No doubt,
Many wonder why it is we've pushed so far west. These are wild lands as yet untamed and unsettled. But it shall not always be so. In time, our holdings will no longer suffice. And that day is closer than you think. We must ensure our people have ample room to grow and further prosper. Which means we need more land. The French understand this and endeavor to prevent such growth. They skirt around our territory, erecting forts and forging alliances, awaiting the day they might strangle us with the noose they've built. This must not come to pass. We must sever the cord and send them back. This is why we ride, to offer them one last chance. The French will leave, or they will die.
Now's the time to strike.
Wait. To scatter the expedition is not enough. We must ensure that Braddock falls, else he's sure to try again. I'll disguise myself as one of his own and make my way to his side. Your ambush will provide the perfect cover for me to deliver the killing blow.
We await your signal.
There, in front of us.
The Abenaki nation originated in what's now northern New England and the southern Canadian Maritimes. Although suggesting there are only one nation may be a bit of a misnomer, since Abenaki can refer to numerous groups from the same approximate geographic area and language family. Algonquin, since you asked. Although the various Abenaki would join together during crisis events, like when they were under attack from other nations, for the most part they had no central authority. It's probably partly what caused the encroachment of British colonists on the land. The British like to have formal governments they could negotiate treaties with. It's just so much more civilized, and sometimes there are canopies. So from the colonist perspective, no central government meant that the Abenaki had no claim on the land. Of course they could have found out otherwise, but that would have taken work and been complicated, and perhaps most importantly, the Abenaki might have said no. While the Abenaki tried to remain neutral during the French and Indian War, they were quite literally caught between the warring British and French colonies, so some conflict was inevitable. For the most part, they sided with the French, who were less responsible for driving them out of their homeland. The lesser of two evils, I suppose you could say, though that's a sentence I never thought I would say about the French. The Lenape, also called the Lenni Lenape or the Delaware, before European colonization, the Lenape lived mostly along the banks of the Delaware River in what's modern-day New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The Lenape were one of the first nations to come into contact with Europeans, most significantly with William Penn, who founded Pennsylvania, which was a stroke of luck given his name. While the Lenape relationship with Penn was mostly peaceful, when Penn died, his sons forced most of the Lenape off the land in a deal known as a walking purchase. During the French and Indian War, the Lenape sided primarily with the French, though some individual groups would later leave to join the British. In 1778, they were the first to sign the land treaty with the Continental Congress, agreeing to provide scouts to the army in exchange for supplies. I imagine they simply liked fine cheeses and onions. The newly formed United States showed its gratitude by eventually moving the Lenape into isolated communities in Ohio and southern Canada. How wonderfully thoughtful. And the Shawnee. At the time of the French and Indian War, the people of the Shawnee Nation were mostly living in and around the Ohio Valley, the territory surrounding Fort Duquesne. Traditionally, the hunting grounds had extended into Pennsylvania and Virginia, but they were being slowly moved from the lands by the advancing line of British colonization. Hoping to stop or at least slow settlement, some of the Shawnee entered the war, siding with their traditional trading partners, that is, the French. By 1758, some Shawnee negotiated peace with the British in the Treaty of Easton. However, the treaty wasn't respected, and if you know anything about colonial history, You're probably sadly unsurprised by that, leading to another war, Pontiac's Rebellion in 1763. By the time the American Revolution started, many of the Shawnee opted to remain neutral, although some sided with the British, again hoping for help pushing back colonists. Unfortunately, the result was the same as many other indigenous people. The Shawnee were forced to leave their lands, with the majority eventually settling in Oklahoma. Good lord, settling in Oklahoma, as if the story couldn't get any worse.
The wood's too thick. At this rate, it'll be days before we reach Duquesne. We should follow the river instead. We are near 2,000 men. One scout is all they need to know of us. And then what? Swiftness would serve us better.
Right, so I can't whistle out of a tall grass here. You can only do that in the remaster.
You'll die right here! Kill them!
Okay, I have to kill 2 without triggering open conflict there. I was kind of thinking that maybe it's like in Black Flag, you know, where you have protection. Doing a stealth kill out of a stealth environment, but yeah. That's one of the reasons why this game's stealth is trickier than other games, since it's actually more realistic at times.
We await your signal.
Nothing to see in New York.
There, in front of
yeah,
us.
literally nothing.
The wood's too thick. At this rate, it'll be days before we reach Duquesne. We should follow the river instead.
The truth would be exposed there. We must maintain the element of surprise.
We are near 2,000 men. One scout is all they need to know of us. And then what? Swiftness would serve us better.
If it works. He's got a point there. Yeah, one of the British soldiers here. It's always funny having, you know, the British or soldiers in general kind of like argue about the tactical plans and what they should be doing next. There's also plenty of kind of like NPC dialogues in Rogue about the 7 Years' War. Oh, come on. Wanted to get my target. But that works.
Kill them!
But it was in regards to Sean's comment. I gotcha. But no one would want to settle in Oklahoma. Yeah, I've never been there. No idea how Oklahoma would be like. Dropkicking since 1755. I know, right? It's kind of funny, you know, having some of the Connor animations, or animations that are clearly made for Connor with Haven.
How could anyone call this forest home? It's all mud and thugs and monstrous things.
With a French pushback, there'll be a lot of opportunities for us up north.
I hear the beaver pelts they gather fetch a fine price back home.
sir. You are grateful to have served.
General!
I'll not tolerate doubt amongst those I command, nor sympathy for the enemy. But no time for insubordination. He paid for his treachery, as all traitors must. If we are to win this war against the French, nay, when we win this war, it will be because men like you obeyed men like me, and did so without hesitation. We must have order amongst our ranks, and a clear chain of command, leaders and followers. Without such structure, there can be no victory. Am I understood?
Hello there, Maxi. Welcome in, dude. Thank you so much for the raid, and welcome in, raiders. How was the stream today? How did Control go? That's cool that you're playing the game. Did you do your first stream of it today? For anyone who didn't come up with a raid, if you haven't checked out Maxi's channel yet, then I recommend doing so. He's a great streamer, very entertaining, with lots of cool channel point rewards and also lots of knowledge about the technical side of, you know, streaming. Has lots of tools as well on his website and over on his YouTube channels with tutorials accompanying it. And yeah, definitely recommend checking out if you haven't yet. He's been playing some Plague Tale Requiem recently, and now he's also doing some Control. Good evening, Maxi. How are things, dude? That's a verse of a shout out. Control's going well, first time playing it, and first stream indeed. Hell yeah. That's pretty cool. Did someone redeem it as like a viewer pick or something, or was it a game that you were like planning to play for a while? But yeah, it's definitely cool, you know, seeing you play that game. Looking forward to, you know, catch a stream in the future. I've only played it once myself, but I thought it was quite interesting. You know, how abstract and kind of like surreal it was. After what you find most irritating with the settlers here is that they come from all corners of the world, French, Italian, English, Irish, Dutch, whatever, from beautiful cities with beautiful architectures, but they all reached America and said, yes, you make the most generic, boring looking buildings, towns. Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of was kind of like out of necessity as well, right? They didn't really have, you know, like the architects of the day and also the resources, you know. They had to resort to building a lot of buildings out of wood as well. So I guess, you know, not having the same infrastructures and yeah, all that. And just how long, you know, certain buildings actually took in Europe to complete. They released a PS5 Pro patch for it, and you got it for free on PlayStation Plus, so thought you'd give it a go. Ah, gotcha. That's really cool. Yeah, the game can look absolutely stunning. Like, it definitely has a high ceiling graphically. So it's cool that, you know, they kind of like optimize it for the PlayStation 5 Pro. I hope it looks and plays nice so far.
Edward. Not so fun on the other end of the barrel, is it?
Look out!
Sir!
Where are you off to, Edward?
Sir. That Wilhelm scream. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so here's the thing. Historically speaking, Braddock died supposedly by a gunshot wound and by one of his own, or someone dressed as a British soldier. So in order to kind of like fit with what we know historically to be likely the case, I'm gonna go not actually assassinate him with the hidden blade, but just try to shoot him while being dressed as a British. Just to kind of like be closer to, you know, history here. Hello Vegisek, welcome in. That was nice timing there. It's like, damn man, look at this gun. And with a British guy, you know, seconds afterwards being like, look out. How are things, Gistek? Maxi looks amazing. You did have capture card issues because of your uncapped frame rate though. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, that can be tricky sometimes. You know, making that kind of like fit well between, you know, what you're capturing, what you're like playing it, and all that. This is actually the original version. Yeah, I decided to play the OG this time around. Not the Wilhelm scream. It's always funny hearing it in like games and movies. What? I have to fuck off? That's not very nice now, is it? Pays remembering the game sequences. It does. Was done British. Yeah, the British soldiers in it. Jesus, now that's a name there. Hello there, Seraph, I'm assuming. How shall we call you now? That is the question. Do I call you Club Sir or just Sir? That's good to hear, Gisek. Glad you're doing well. And yeah, it's going pretty good over here. Still juggling around between Rogue and AC3. But this is the final AC3 part before finishing with the entirety of Rogue. So yeah, there's going to be some luck making coming up very soon here. Bit of a focus on Rogue. But yeah, we're gonna finish
Liam.
We're gonna finish the Haven introduction today. And then next time we can really dive deep into Rogue. Make our way to Lisbon and stuff. You fight like a dairy farmer. But what about you? What about you, Seraph?
Damn! You are ugly.
Damn indeed. Hello there, Jay. Welcome in, dude. Making your own luck as well, I see. Nice. How's it going, Jay? Yeah, Maxi. Hashtag blame Seraph. Exactly, Gislek. Step 1, destroy Lisbon. Step 2, blame the assassins. Step 3, be an absolute nutter. And join the Templars who are obviously manipulating you. No worries whatsoever, Maxi. I hope you have a good rest, dude. Definitely understandable, you know, working and streaming as well. I hope you have a good, you know, break and rest and a good night as well later. And thank you so much again also for the raid. I really appreciate it. Catch you next time. And for anyone who missed the shout out earlier, here's another one in chat. if you want to check out Mexi. I make my own enemies. That's definitely Shay's talent, you know, to make enemies. Thank you for the lurk, Mexi. Doing well, Jay? Mostly lurking while you finish out your workday. That's good to hear, dude. Glad to hear that you're doing well. How's Ghost of Tsushima going with your playthrough? I hope that's going well. How far have you gotten with the game? Actually, are you in the final act of it? Step 4: join a couch. That's a step that Shay likes to make on multiple stages of his life. To join a couch. No worries, Maxi, for the shout out. Added TJ? Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Are you planning on playing the Icky Island DLC? Or do you, are you gonna move on to another game? Oh shit. Gotta be fast.
I never took you for a coward, Edward.
Come on, then! Such arrogance. I always knew it would be the end of you. Is the end of you.
Don't. Hurry before he gets away! I said go!
I love how Gatsuzio just smashes Josh Washington's face.
You're a hypocrite, Hatham! I'm sorry, Edward, but you forced my hand! Why, Hatham?
Your death opens a door. It's nothing personal. Well, maybe it is a little personal. Been a pain in my ass, after all.
But we are brothers in arms.
Once, perhaps. No longer.
Do you think I've forgotten what you did? All those innocents slaughtered, and for what? It does not engender peace to cut your way to resolution.
Wrong. Whether we applied the sword more liberally and more often, the world would be a better place than it is today.
In this instance, I concur. Farewell, Edward.
It's done. Now I've upheld my part of the bargain. I expect that you will honor yours.
Follow me.
No. No!
You seem disappointed.
I thought that I held a key that would open something here.
This room is all there is.
I expected more. What do they mean?
It tells the story of Yodzizu, who came into their world and shaped it for what life might come. She had a hard journey, fraught with great loss and peril. But she believed in her children and what they might achieve. And though she is long gone from the physical world, her eyes still watch over us. Her ears still hear our words. Her hands still guide us. And her love still gives us strength.
You've shown me great kindness, dear. Thank you. I should go.
Hello there, Mita. Welcome in. And thank you so much for the raid, dude. Welcome in, raiders.
Citizens.
How is it going? How was the stream today? I hope you had fun with Death Stranding. Or that's where Connor gets it from. No kidding. He also loves to smack people in the face. Yeah, bro. Oh my god, it's the K from Valhalla. What a great connection, isn't it, in this game? To Valhalla. Valhalla came first. Or she's odd. Badass, but odd. Yeah, a little bit. I kind of like how they keep it consistent between, you know, kind of like Connor and the Kanin Kahaka, that they have like a certain way of handling themselves, which maybe, you know, might seem a bit monotone from the outside perspective, but it seems kind of like, you know, it's kind of like their attitude in a way, I guess. Not over-emotional. But yeah, welcome in, raiders. Hello, Vedes. Good day. Hello, Ave. Welcome in, dude. Hello, Mita. And also hello, Lone Star. Welcome in. I hope you guys are doing well. And thank you all for joining us here for some AC3. We're currently about to finish the Haven introduction here of AC3. Yeah, the perfect timing there to raid in. Right into the one love cutscene in the game. I'm doing good, Amita. Yeah, doing well. Pretty busy week so far, but yeah, got a bit of time on my hands this evening to carry on with the historical auto run. Played one mission of Rogue and then moved on to AC3 to finish the Haven introduction. So gonna finish that tonight, and then next time we can fully focus on Rogue for a while. Until we finish Rogue, really. It was good, you liking the game so far? That's great to hear, Mita. It looks pretty interesting, I would say. It's also my viewer pick list, actually. Like, Mexi picked it for me a while ago. So I'm gonna play it eventually, but yeah, it definitely is an interesting one. Kinda like delivery simulator. With an interesting setting. The K from Valhalla, the raids from Valhalla, everything taken from Valhalla. Even the maps. Especially the Alliance map. Cheers, Amita. You doing well, Ava? Got the God of War Platinum earlier today. Oh yeah, dude, GG's. On getting the Platinum officially now on, you know, the PlayStation.
I want to see the Alliance map.
GG's on that. What was the last trophy or achievement that you finished? Was it like the Valkyrie or something? I make my own love, Master Kenway. It seems so. You got 111.5k creep points. Damn. I think I also have about like the 100k mark over on your channel. Something along the lines of that. The lore panels, gotcha. It's always interesting sometimes, you know, what people end up getting the platinum on. I remember for my platinum of Spider-Man 2018, the final one that I had to get was going to the graveyard, the gravestone. You know which one I'm talking about. And I chose to go there while kind of like having a bit of fun and going into the going with the underwear costume for Peter. And I didn't actually realize it was the last, you know, achievement left. But yeah, I ended up visiting the gravestone in underwear as Peter. And my platinum kind of like trophy screen is, you know, that moment. The disrespect was real. Oh, nice, Ave. Gonna carry on with Better Call Saul then.
Get swapped for your ass at birth.
Yeah, that's definitely how you platinum a game proper. With your ultimate meme.
Master Kenway, did you find it then?
It was not the right place.
The others are waiting for you.
Gentlemen, please sit. I fear our temple was no more than a painted cave. Although it did contain precursor images and script, which means we are close.
Not close enough, it seems.
We need to redouble our efforts and expand our order and establish a permanent base here. Although the site eludes us, I am confident we will find it.
Truth. Hear, hear.
Furthermore, I believe it is time we welcome Charles into our fold. He has proven himself a loyal disciple and served unerringly since the day he came to us. He should be able to share in our knowledge and reap all the benefits that such a gift implies. Are any opposed? Very well. Charles, come, stand. Do you swear to uphold the principles of our order and all that for which we stand?
I do.
And never to share our secrets nor divulge the true nature of our work?
I do.
And to do so from now until death, whatever the cost?
I do.
Then we welcome you into our fold, brother. Together, we will usher in the dawn of a new world, one defined by purpose and order. Give me your hand. You are a Templar. May the Father of Understanding guide us.
May the Father of Understanding
guide us. Wait, what?
Wait, what? What the fuck? I love Desmond's reactions in the anime sometimes, you know. But yeah, that was me the first time playing as well. I think it was like probably everyone's reaction on the first time playing.
That, right?
Wow.
Well, indeed.
The key must be the amulet Hatham took from London.
We might know what it looks like, but we're no closer to finding it. Desmond, you need to keep going.
Hey, he's your ancestor too. Why don't you hop in the Animus?
Really? That's your response? It's like dealing with a 6-year-old. What is wrong with you, Desmond?
You want to know what's wrong? I'm sick of being treated like I'm not even here. Desmond, do this. Desmond, do that. Desmond, you better figure things out because the sun is going to turn us all to ash. And I know I was really nice to you, but actually I'm just another Templar plot twist. And yes, I would like very much for you to be controlled by a magic space wizard so that you can murder me. So there's your answer. I'm sick of being a goddamn pawn. I thought it might be different with you. I mean, you're my father, but turns out you're no better than the fucking Templars.
Don't you ever equate me to those bastards again. You hear me? Everything I do, everything I have done, has been for you. Maybe I pushed a little too hard, asked a little too much, but try and remember exactly what's at stake here. You need to get it together, kid. We're running out of time.
Right, that was unusual. Well, I'm just going to pretend that this never happened and get back to bringing everyone up to speed on where we stand. The news isn't good. It appears this temple is powered by a collection of, well, I guess they're batteries. You found one on your way in, but there aren't any more, at least not down here.
Any idea on where we can find replacements?
Not yet, so I intend to tiptoe into the Abstergo database. Now, if I can cross-reference these particular devices with their database, then maybe we'll get lucky.
See what you can do.
Obviously. Anyway, Desmond, you can either take a look around here or we can head back to the Animus.
I mean, imagine if Origins had an achievement to complete the game wearing the bath tower outfit. That would definitely be a true meme achievement there. One of those times I wouldn't mind doing a playthrough in the bath tower, just to get that achievement. Yeah, Aura. Yeah, definitely feel like that was most people's reaction the first time, unless you got like tipped off, you know, beforehand. But yeah, the way Hatham handles himself, you know, it's not really, you know, it's definitely very well aligned with the assassins at times, or what you perceive the assassins to be like. But yeah, all your companions for, you know, that definitely much more typical, you know, Templar material. Especially when you look at Hickey and Church. Wait a minute. Yeah, William, why don't you hop in? It'll be much easier. Why don't you sacrifice yourself a bit for the cause, William? Desmond's a little bitch. Yeah, I can definitely understand Desmond's frustration. I mean, for the past 3 months or so, he spent most of the time in the Animus. It's kind of crazy to think, you know, how little time actually passes in the modern day since AC1, you know. It's really only like 4 to 5 months or so, I think, that you really spend with Desmond actively. Father of the Year, yeah. They need to punch Desmond there, that's for sure. But yeah, when Desmond compared him to the Templars, that definitely triggered something there, to say the least. Bonnie McGuire, Desmond, that's a cute outfit. Did your father give it to you? In fact, he did not. I didn't know you could actually zoom in modern day. That's interesting. More cinematic camera here. Got a lot of cinematic camera angles. Hello, Altair. Welcome in. It's going very good, thank you. Yeah, continuing with the historical order. Got into the year 1755 today and finished the AC3 introduction with Haven. So yeah, going forward we're gonna play quite a bit of Rogue until we have finished that game. How are you doing? Time to manufacture luck. Tipped off by the subtitles I was. That would definitely also help. Sacrifice for the McGuire. For the bully. Like Cyberpunk. Sorry, Amita, what was like Cyberpunk? Avi, you don't know what the fuck got into your mind, but in that scene, the way Sean was talking, you feel like Tom Hiddleston would be a great live-action Sean in a TV show. Ah yeah, sorry, I had to just Google again the actor to kind of like remember the face. But yeah, that's the Loki actor. Yeah? I probably wouldn't mind actually having Tom Hiddleston play Sean. It definitely would have to be a British actor, that's for sure, who can, you know, do the same type of accent, because that's a must. But to be honest, I wouldn't really mind Danny Wallace, the actor for Sean, to do the live action kind of like part, because he looks a lot like Sean, like the look is completely based on him, and he also has acted before. So I would just honestly choose him. He's such a funny guy too. Notorious for kind of like improvising as well. And he even wrote some books, one of which was made into a movie with Jim Carrey, which is Yes Man. It's kind of like the story about a pessimistic guy who doesn't really see much sense in his life anymore, to kind of like join a cult who's, and in that cult they're kind of like having to say yes to everything, to like every opportunity they have. So someone asks you a question, it doesn't matter what, you have to say yes. And you have to agree to everything, just to kind of like give yourself the opportunity to do anything again. It's a pretty wild concept, but it's actually quite funny. Quite entertaining. I quite like that movie slash story. The zoom in feature, Amita, yeah. I really like when, you know, games award you additional camera angles. Something I also quite like in the GTA games, you know, or Resident Evil, having the cinematic camera as well. You're doing good, idea. Just stop playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. Very nice. That's great to hear. Glad you're doing well, and I hope you had fun with Resident Evil. Are you doing like any particular type of playthrough? Because there's quite a few like different scenarios you can play as, don't you? Afro Haven's outfit you thought really fit the assassins when you first played it, even though they had Connor on the cover, but it made sense to have no hood because 18th century, come on. Bit out there with a hooded look, easily spotted. That's fair, yeah. Yeah, Haven definitely has a very good like blending in with you know, other people of the time outfit. I mean, he does stand out as being like, you know, well dressed and stuff, but yeah, he looks like a nobleman, I guess, in a way, which wouldn't be untypical, you know. But yeah, I quite like Haven's outfit too, with a cloak and you know, a hat. Exactly, you know, he stands out a bit, but not so much that, you know, he would be like pointed out as unusual or something. But yeah, so since we're focusing on the historical part, we're not gonna actually talk to all the, you know, characters here or like read all the emails. Something I actually really like doing in these games, but it's not really our focus in this in these playthroughs. And also allows me to save a bit of time to dedicate towards, you know, more historical focused things in the games. Which means we could go straight back into the enemies now, but you know, there's gonna be like quite a time skip now between the Haven end and, you know, the beginning of Connor's story. In fact, the next AC3 memory is gonna be in 1760, so 5 years later, when Connor is still quite young. And the entirety of Rogue really takes place in that time frame, what's now left. So yeah, the next step is to go and return to Rogue and, you know, play the rest of the game. But I won't be doing that tonight anymore though. We're gonna start with an extreme and then really dive into Rogue and finish Rogue's introduction, you know, with the assassins. And then finally we can also, you know, really dive into the open world exploration of that game. But yeah, I won't be doing that tonight anymore though. IT first time playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. Never played, so really just search a lot. Ah, gotcha. I haven't played those games myself either, but I watch quite a few streamers play them and play different scenarios. But yeah, that's one of my favorite ways to play games sometimes is, you know, just going in blind, not knowing anything and just trying to figure out everything yourself. It can be very satisfying even if things not always go to plan. Juno just sitting there. Yeah, she's just being like, why is he wasting so much time? God damn it. He has to free me. I wanna know something hilarious. I, as you've mentioned, started AC with Odyssey. Along with Odyssey got free. You played both, greatly preferred free, because the Valve story was more interesting and entertaining. When you had played AC1 and the Ezio trilogy, you went back to 3 and somehow you had forgotten the story. So the Templar plot twist still came out as a shock. You felt so stupid knowing you had played it before, you had forgotten about it. Such an important moment. I mean, that's definitely fair. I feel like that moment has a lot more weight once you have played the previous AC games as well, you know, because the ACs are never really much of a forefront in Odyssey either, you know, or like important. So coming back to it, you know, from like having played AC1 and the Ezio trilogy, you definitely have a different understanding of like, you know, the Assassins and Templars. So it doesn't surprise me that you kind of viewed the story differently or even, you know, forgot about parts of it. But it's definitely funny, you know, like revisiting a game and kind of like forgetting about, you know, small but really important details. But I have those moments constantly too, like even with the AC games sometimes, because yeah, I can't, you know, remember every single little thing sometimes. That's like, ah yeah, this is actually what happened. Or like this detail actually reveals quite a bit about that character's intention that I kind of forgot about. So will I hold off on doing Rogue ending before I start Unity? Yeah, I basically would do the Rogue ending in Paris alongside the Unity beginning in Paris. Now that excludes the kind of like snippet missions, you know. After a couple of sequences you have these kind of like Paris memories, right? Those ones I kind of have to play to get to the next historical part, so they don't count. But yeah, once I get to the ending, we're gonna play that alongside Unity's beginning. And I will wait with Rogue until that year happens. So we won't be finishing Rogue completely, I guess, but yeah, except for the final mission. And once we reach that year. Yes, but get stuck in the police station and always suck, especially when you stream. I gotcha. Well, best of luck, definitely, IT. I hope that you can, you know, find a way out of a police station. Yeah, definitely. Other, you know, like that's the thing coming from Odyssey, you know, where assassins and Templars are not even a thing, nor are they really important. Then AC3 is already like the culmination of, you know, the pretty major conflict in modern day, and you know, like for example the way Desmond talks about you know, what's currently affecting him, you know, with like space wizards and Templar plot twists. Not having played any, you know, AC game before would definitely throw you off and be like, what the fuck is he talking about? It's always interesting to me, you know, what people start AC with, or, you know, what the first AC game was, to kind of like expose them to the series. And, you know, what kind of like perception I might have of the AC series as a whole, having that as an introduction point. Because for me, you know, I started AC with AC1 and AC2, so I kind of like followed the series from the beginning and kind of like saw how it developed over the years until we eventually reached Odyssey territory. And to be fair, when I actually played Odyssey for the first time, like when it launched, I had a pretty decent time with it. Like, you know, I definitely had fun with it. But the more time went on and the closer I got to the ending, the more seemingly disappointed I got. Because I felt like even though it wasn't like my maybe favorite type of writing, I felt there was a lot of potential in the game that just wasn't utilized for me. At least in, you know, accordance to the lore of the series. But yeah, if you then come in, you know, as like having never played AC before and doing Odyssey first, then you wouldn't even view it from that kind of like angle. So Black Flag was the first emitter. That's a pretty good starting point, I feel like, honestly. It's not in the middle of a Desmond saga. And while it does spoil, you know, a few things, it's definitely like you're caught in between the Assassins and Templars, and, you know, Edward doesn't really know much about either faction either. So yeah, he's definitely a good protagonist to resonate with, I think, coming into this conflict. Being like a newcomer to it. Oh, very cool idea. So doing the storyline and then starting with Odyssey. So also going the historical route then? Playing Odyssey, Origins, Mirage, Valhalla. I can definitely recommend that, it's quite fun. I wouldn't recommend it for first time playing because I feel like the modern day gets completely messed up and would be really confusing. But if you have played the AC games before, then, you know, trying in historical order can be quite satisfying. This guy is intending on finally doing AC next year, and he's so pushing for her to start with 1 and not 2. You can do 2 without 1, but knowing her and what she likes about games, 1 is a must for her. The story and all intrigues are just chef's kiss. I would definitely also love for her to start with series with the very first game. There can definitely be some frustrations and like a learning process, but yeah, like as you say, I feel like she could definitely, you know, really have a lot of appreciation for the game if she sticks with it and gives it a chance. Gotcha, ideas to play for more, yeah. Yeah, definitely a fun way to play the games in that order. It's actually the way I started out streaming initially, like at least on like a more regular schedule with a historical project. Like I played for all the AC games in historical order. That was like my first like major project, I guess, on the channel. But I only played the AC games, and you know, Valhalla wasn't even launched then. That was like 2019. So I started with Odyssey and I've ended with Syndicate. 2 Quebec games. I mean, do you remember listening to all the audio from Desmond and also reading everything? Yeah. That would also be confusing. You know, it's like, who's this Desmond guy and why is he important? Ah, very cool idea. So that was the first game you ever played? Oh yeah, dude. But yeah, what a great name. And I love also the meaning of Atir as well. You know, the flying one. Kind of like a synonym to the, you know, ego as a symbol for the assassins. Hello there, Scar. Welcome in. Greetings. What's up? Yeah, it's about this time of the year, isn't it? To watch some scary movies. No worries for the stream, Aura. Thank you for being here and for joining us. Thank you so much, everyone, for, you know, joining us today. Tonight, I should say. I probably won't have time actually to stream tomorrow, but I intend on doing a daytime stream on either Saturday or Sunday. So we'll be definitely able to do like a good long session of Rogue. Avi found her back when she played the God of War games, and she did one to Ragnarok, release order. Everything hits much harder with playing God of War, and for you the same goes with AC, which is why AC 1 to 3 is your ideal recommendation for people getting into AC. After that you can do whatever, 1 Pirates go with 4, 1 Explore Ancient Greece go with Odyssey. I kinda agree, yeah. You know, like 1 to 3 is definitely one cohesive story. And even though the historical timelines differ quite a lot, there's a lot of connections between the modern day to the history that still makes it feel like a continuity. And you're also moving forward in time, right? Like, even though there's a lot of, you know, like time in between the different settings, you're not moving like back and forth and all that type of stuff. You're moving like from the Crusades to Renaissance, from Renaissance to the colonies. And of course the modern day and ESO storylines, and they're all very deeply connected. But yeah, after that, you know, it really feels like, you know, some of the games are more like spin-offs in a way, you know. The modern day taking a decisive, you know, step back, really. Not really determining the history too much either. You see what I did there? Did you? Playing World of Warcraft Scar? So not doing well then. I gotcha. Well, I hope that maybe, you know, things get better over there, though. Or maybe once, you know, you stop playing World of Warcraft. Maybe then you went to play 2, after 2 you played them in order except for Unity that you played after Valhalla. That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Unity, you know, didn't really have to play it to understand the other games either. Exactly, Ave, you know. And because it's also interconnected, you know, we have such great moments like the ending of Revelations, you know. Having Altair's, Ezio's, Desmond's, and the Isu timeline all kind of like connect in one moment was pretty epic. But yeah, we don't really have it nowadays anymore. Nor would really have the same kind of like feeling and meaning, I feel like. But yeah, that's how it is sometimes. Things move on in a different direction. As we must for the stream, because yeah, this is gonna be the end of today's stream. I want to thank you all so much for coming out and joining us for more of AC Rogue and AC Free. Let's actually have a look and see who's online and who we could raid today, if anyone is online. Never know at, you know, this time of the day. Not gonna lie, the RPG games are such a cute spin-off, but when is AC5 coming out? That's a question, isn't it? I remember when Valhalla launched, or was close to launching, and people were like, yeah, surely Valhalla must be AC5, right? Because, you know, the V standing for Valhalla and 5. How can they miss that opportunity? AC3 it's the hardest, knowing the journeys of Altair, Ezio and Desmond, what's gotten him up to this point in time. Yeah, it just really elevates the experience so much further. You know, playing through all the games in order and, you know, getting to this point. Like the trade-off is just so good. No worries for the stream, Mamita. Thank you for being here. And thank you again also so much for the raid earlier. Thank you to Maxi again for the raid earlier as well. And John Carlos, thank you also again for the follow today. Ava can recommend someone if you don't have anyone to rate. Yeah, for sure. Can definitely recommend someone if you want. Before the same when Valhalla was announced. Yeah, honestly, you know, me too. I mean, it was another Moncho developed game. Was supposed to kind of like be the culmination of maybe the RPG games in a way. And also a culmination for Layla and, you know, having like Sean and Rebecca back. Definitely felt like one of those games that was actually pushing forward, you know, the series again a bit. At least, you know, with modern day. Dardy Gaming, he's playing the game Visage. Ah yeah, I heard of that one. Isn't that also one developed by Kojima? Oh no, sorry. That was PT, wasn't it? Visage was another game. I remember Visage from Letty telling me all about it because she loved watching it and watched quite a few streamers play it. It's supposed to be quite creepy. But yeah, sure, we can definitely raid out over there. Thank you for the recommendation, Ava. Me too, Ava, you know, because it's definitely clear that, you know, he was kind of like also forced in a way to cater to the type of game that Valhalla is and its narrative structure, you know. Like, yeah, he was technically in charge of a narrative structure, but of course that is underlying the gameplay structure fundamentally, so. There's definitely compromises that have to have been made, I guess. Thank you for posting raid emotes as well there into chat, Ave. If you want to join us with a raid over to Dardy Gaming for some Visage, feel free to copy and paste the emotes in chat. And yeah, I will be back either on Saturday or Sunday with a longer stream, and it's also gonna be a daytime stream as well. So until then, I hope everyone has a great rest of the evening and a good start into a weekend tomorrow. And yeah, I will catch you guys very soon again for more history. I hope so too, Ave. I hope so too that, you know, Hexa will also be a bit more innovative and trying something fresh and new. Maybe.